yeah, Sydney has a upper hand along with the other states. But um, I I too have decided to move here,
Mhm.
and I think the main reason why we decided to stay here. This is where the music scene is. That's
Mhm.
um, my background, and also the best schools are said to be here. So I've got a couple of kids.
Is that true?
So
Which I think
that's what they say.
yeah, I heard about Melbourne Girls Grammar School. Is that a very good school?
There's a lot of different ones.
Really?
Um,
One that your
uh,
school goes to is the number one high school in the whole of Australia. I think it is, right?
Melbourne High School, yeah. Well, he's already graduated. He started university in Melbourne University.
Yeah.
But he started the term with coronavirus, so he hasn't actually gone to school physically much at all.
Hmm.
But yeah, so yeah, they're both learning online at the moment.
Yeah. I mean,
My
your
my two kids.
are very, very smart. So I just have to say.
Yeah, they're quite diligent. Uh,
So they take after the mom or the dad or both,
I'll
probably.
I'll stay safe and say it's the mom.
Okay. Okay. All right. So let's get down to the important questions because a lot of the viewers this afternoon or this evening are actually either wanting to move to Australia or just want to visit Australia anytime soon, hopefully after this coronavirus issue is over. Um, but of course, for anybody who's moving, let's say from the Philippines to Australia, you guys must have experienced some sort of like a bad kind of homesickness. Did you guys ever feel that way in the beginning? Maybe we can start with Rose.
Um, when I moved to Adelaide, I really felt the homesickness because I'm away with my family and friends. It's a new environment, so I really need to get out for me to be able to like meet someone because I don't know anyone there. But although I have my in-laws and my it's very new. It's very new to me. I don't really know anyone, but um, I'm so blessed and thankful that I have a church community who inspire me to like embrace the chance of living here in Australia. So that's my like how I conquered homesickness is also you need to be really to be able to embrace
Mhm.
the community, uh, the environment that you belong. And when I first moved to Adelaide, I didn't started working, so it was really a challenge. I wasn't driving that time, so I always need to catch the bus or train. So it's really difficult for me. So I'm always like using the like transportation, like public transportation, because I wasn't driving and my husband was always working. So I need to. Sometimes my in-laws will drive me somewhere to meet my friends. So it's really a challenge. Um, when I was started driving, so that was the time that I started going to beautiful cities or to the beach to see that this is really the place that I will really live in. Like I need to be with get out and meet the community. So that's the when I started to um like embrace the place that I am living in that time. So yeah, that's the way how I conquered homesickness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, I think the fact that you're there with your husband is a big
Mm.
it's a big help. I mean,
Yeah.
it's much more difficult for
Mm.
the single ones who are moving, let's say,
Yeah, true. That's true.
and they have to leave their spouses or their families in the Philippines.
Mm.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you. And what about you, Francis? Would you like to share with us just a
Yeah, there was a pretty. It was a big adjustment because when we moved to Australia, we moved to Western Australia, and more particularly, country. Sorry,
was it in Perth?
no, we actually moved to a little town called Bustleton. So Bustleton is a tourist town about 3 hours away from Perth.
Okay.
So so Perth is already considered as one of the most isolated cities in the world,
Mhm.
and we lived another 3 hours away from that. So
Mhm.
coming from Quezon City, you know how life is in Manila. You have the traffic, you have the busyness of everything, the availability of everything. When you move to a little country town, coming from that background, it's a big major adjustment. So it was a homesickness because of the big change that came about. Getting used to a very laid back sort of lifestyle, and for me as well, because my wife and I moved here on her work visa. So when she came here, she already had work in store for her, whereas I came here as her dependent. So I actually had a pretty challenging time in the beginning to find a line of work that was suited to what I was already doing in Manila. So I was jumping from one job to another. So yeah, it certainly got homesick in the beginning,
Mhm.
and the best remedy for that was coming home once in a while.
Yeah, but not
But of
everyone.
course, the
Uh,
food and hearing the language is also a big thing as well.
it is. It's so difficult to understand the Aussie accent. Apologies to
In
my.
the beginning, it is. In the beginning, it is, and then of course you get used to it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we're so used to the either Filipino accent or American accent at the very least, right? But
Yeah,
accent is kind of difficult to understand in the beginning. But as you
in the beginning, as you
surround
talk
yourself,
to more people.
and there's so many expressions that I also don't understand. I mean, they talk,
Until now, there's something new that comes up
yeah.
that I don't even know what I have any idea what it means. So yeah.
Okay, thank you, Francis. And what about you, Yvette? Would you like to share with us a little bit of your tips to those who
Yes.
are
Hopefully this will work again.
you guys are so
Thank you
far
for your
from everyone else.
patience.
Okay, so how do you deal with
So,
your homesickness, Yvette?
so for me, basically, there's a couple of things that I did, to actually, sorry, that's already finished, for me to go through or to actually survive homesickness here in Australia. So, one of that is, I guess same as Francis, I think, and from Rose, I hail from Cubao, Quezon City. So as you know, there's a lot of traffic there. There's always a lot of people. So it's a big adjustment going to a place wherein there's hardly anyone on the streets.
Mhm.
And I was really shocked initially, Tinette, I'm not sure with you, Francis or Rose, when I found out that the malls close at 5 to begin
Yeah,
with.
that
I'm
was the case
thinking,
in Western Australia as well.
yes, yes. So, and
Mm.
especially on weekends, and obviously that, you can't have a neighbor that you can talk to
Yeah.
straight away when you go out of the street compared to us. But yeah, I was able to actually survive, and even until now, through obviously prayers and going to church every Sunday, and then connection with family and friends. That was a really, really big help. But especially during the time when I moved 20 years ago,
Yeah.
we didn't have Facebook yet. So, it's always the letters, the postcards from my family, phone calls. And then, eventually my sister forced me to actually sign up on Facebook.
Okay.
I was actually forced because, she said, don't stop sharing, stop emailing me, or stop asking me for photos via email. You need to sign on to Facebook. So, obviously that really helped. Social media helped, even now. And then most importantly and presently, I do a lot of exercise,
Mhm.
which is, a lot of personal care, which also involves meditation, mindfulness, and, hobbies.
Yeah.
Basically, of, baking. And I'm trying to make new things at the moment. So latest one was, I think, ubi halaya.
Wow.
basically. So, yes, courtesy of the Filipino shop, obviously. So yes. No, I mean, the main ingredients, but we managed to actually make the
I think
actual
I
the
think
actual food.
food is the best remedy for any
Yes,
homesickness.
yes,
If
yes,
you're
yes,
if you're eating the familiar food, it
yes.
doesn't sting as much.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
Mm.
Yeah. So yes.
Okay. Well, because my friends who migrate to either Australia, the UK, the US, or Canada, that's the number one issue, homesickness. So again, for the viewers, it's normal if you guys are planning to move down there to Australia or New Zealand or wherever. Yes, you will definitely go through homesickness. So as you heard from Rose, from Francis, and from Yvette, it's normal, but it's really up to you how
Mm.
you're gonna take care of yourself and find ways to manage it, because otherwise it can lead to depression, right? I've heard of
Mhm.
stories where they've just left the Philippines and 2 weeks later they want to fly back, because there's like a cycle there, right? And maybe next time in our future episodes we can go through those different cycles so that people are more aware of on that whole thing that we call homesickness. Okay, so I just want to say hello to people who are now viewing us, who are watching. Carmine, hi Carmine. Hello Carmela, hi Samboy, and a lot of other friends like Tian, Greg, Eloisa, M, Mrs. Monte Alegre, and Mao. Hi to everybody. So as we all know, we're interviewing some happily what naturalized.
Embedded.
Okay, so how about okay, because you guys are now like Francis and Rose, you have kids, right? And I understand that people say that Australia is a fantastic place to raise kids. Is this true? I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
I
just
have to agree to.
okay. Tell us more.
Yeah, well, I guess the main reason why one of the best reasons why we moved here was that Australia is a great place to raise kids, and that's true. The school system is excellent, and it's not disproportionately expensive, unlike in the Philippines. If you want your kids to have a really good education, you have to spend a lot for it. So here, even the public system is excellent, is regarded very highly.
You guys are so
And yeah, you don't have the inconveniences that you experience in Manila. You don't have the traffic. If you want to get things done, you can do a whole host of activities in one day because there's nothing that slows you down. So it's very first world. So it's a great place to be.
as well. And the weather. Well, Melbourne is special, but it's still lovely, just the same. But really,
It is.
you can get
The time you were here, it was bad.
just really cold.
But it's beautiful, and it's not cold all the time. That's not true. It's actually it's a very balanced climate.
Yeah, South Yarra is actually a beautiful area as well.
Yeah,
Melbourne. I like that area a lot. Okay,
you
so
should come here when the weather is beautiful.
yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, what about Rose? Okay, Rose, because you have 3 kids, and
Yeah, I have
like how is it very good in terms of raising children in Australia?
um raising kids in Australia is for me is one of the best thing that the child can ever have because
Oh man,
you have beautiful beaches, lots of mountains, there's no traffic. All those things play a part in like the childhood memories that you will give to your kids. So there's a best facilities in school, and what what else can I say? Because my kids goes to a Catholic school
yeah.
and the kids love it. So the community of the people that they are with, the school that they are with right now are really one of the best here in the Riverina region where so we are very blessed that the community here are really um like faith-based. What Because that's what my husband and I talk to. We want to raise our kids as a God-fearing person. That's the number one. That's our actually our main goal.
Mhm.
Not
That's
just to not just to have the best education, but also to practice also their faith. And also that's like the school that they belong to right now is like two in one. There's a faith and there's a good education for them. So
so
yeah,
it's
that's it. We are happy, and the kids are always like love to go to school, and there's no bullying involved. So all those things play a part in raising the kids as like happy and successful kids. Yeah.
wow, that's great.
Yeah.
Okay, well, so it's not only a nice place for people with kids, but it's also nice for people who are single or those who are
Mm.
married, even without kids. Maybe Yvette can share with us. Maybe, of course, you have family back home in the Philippines. How is everybody dealing with this? I mean, is it beneficial to you personally and your family here? Have they been
Ye-
able to adjust? Please share with us your experience.
Yes. Thanks again, Tinette. So yes, basically like, just like Francis and just like Rose, I feel so blessed to actually be living here, to be in a country that's, considered a Western country, but just 8 hours away from home. So it's it's so easy to go home if we need to. Although obviously technically we're far away from, Europe and the America, and but still, if I may say this before I present, most of my friends who came from other countries, specifically like, America and even the UK, they
Mhm.
all want to move here.
You know, that's
Yeah.
very true. All my friends in the UK, all right? Well, not all, that's not fair to say, but probably 95% of my
Yes. Yes.
Filipino friends who live in the UK and even the
Mhm.
British friends that
Mm.
I have there all want to
Yeah.
move down to Australia. And this is
Yeah.
really interesting because I think it's because the culture is not that different, but it's much more laid back and it's sunnier, the weather is nicer, you've got beaches, there's less people. So yeah, I absolutely agree with you that UK people want to move down there.
I think it's also because the Aussies themselves are very easy to get along with.
Absolutely.
Um,
I agree.
I
100.
think they share the humor of the Pinoys. The Aussie humor is
So
just translated Pinoy humor, really. So they're one thing I was surprised was how open they are. They're really easy to get along with, no dramas at all to move in. So it's easy to adjust.
yeah, yeah. So
So
anyway,
yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
yeah, that's
Uh,
great. Yeah. So you were saying,
Yes, sorry. Thank you for that, Francis. So if I can, if I can just share with you guys a few things that have actually been benefits, so to speak, for me and for my family by moving here. Bear with me. So couple of them is obviously personal growth, increased self-confidence, um,
wow,
personal achievements in career. So currently, I'm managing an office of 150 people in the city, and then obviously financial stability. So I think Australia and the opportunities that it has given me, and I'm sure that Francis and Rose would also agree with me on that. And obviously travel. So just to show you a quick photo, this is from my recent trip, like last year, to Italy with Angie and Raul, and this is when I was able to visit my brother's family in London. So basically, I wouldn't be able to achieve that. I guess I'll be honest, if I was in the Philippines on my own, but I was able to do that by being here. And obviously, I was able to establish connections, both professional and the Filipino communities as well. And obviously, I've gained a lot of friends that I consider family. So again, guys, let me share with you the people that, I love and that I consider my family here
Ah,
in Sydney at the moment. I'm very proud that I know these people. So the one on top is left, and so
mhm.
the one at the bottom right are my Aussie friends, as we call ourselves. We see each other a lot, and we always eat out. So again, at Yvette, Kuya Buddy, Angie's family in Adelaide. So yes, that's it. So basically, this is just a few snapshots of the people that are actually in my life at the moment. And I think I've gained a lot of friends, and not only friends, Tinette, Francis and Rose, but actually families that I know I could lean on. So
So nice. And
yes.
what a lovely story that you have. And this is actually one of the fears of most Filipinos who want to move out or move
Mm-hmm.
or to migrate, is
Yeah.
that you might lose that sense of family. But with your
Mm-hmm.
sharing, with your story, it seems like your family, your friends, you guys are so solid, and this is such a beautiful thing.
Yes. And if I may share as well again, guys, well, this is my family, this is my dog, but a lot, by me being here, I was able to help my family financially as well. Just like most Filipinos as well. So this is us on the right hand side. These are my dogs.
Mhm.
And then obviously I was, because of that as well, being here, I was able to visit them as well, having again that financial means, to be here, to actually be able to travel. And yeah, so go to a lot of places. Again, photos of just travel and just being with family and friends, basically. So yeah, it's given a lot of benefit for me. And then obviously I was able to share my life experiences with my family. I was able to bring them here. They were able to come and visit, which
Yeah.
I think is always a big thing. Yeah, that's all. Thank you, Tinette.
Oh, thank you so
Thank
much.
you, guys.
You have such a wonderful family and friends, both in the Philippines and
Thank you.
you're definitely very blessed. So thank you for sharing. So I just want to say hello to some of our viewers. Romel Ainza says, "Hi, Yvette." I think he is your friend.
Yes. Hi, Romel. Thank
And
you,
then
friends, for
Melanie,
watching.
hi to Maki, to Arnell, and to Mr. Garing, and to Pen as well. And a lot of other fans. We actually have a lot of viewers on both pages. But there's one question here, guys, and anyone can answer. There's a question from Christopher Make, who's my friend, Maki. Is it hard to go to Australia when you have no one there? Where and how do we start? I think the first question would be, is it really difficult when you don't have anyone there? Because with Rose, of course, she was there to be with her husband and to raise a family. Francis also migrated with his wife and kids. So anyone who'd like to answer this, is it hard when you don't
I
have?
think it's hard wherever you decide to go. But I guess what's your purpose in moving? If you're moving for work,
Mhm.
you've got something to do and you don't exactly have nothing to go to. If you've
Yeah,
got something to go to, then no, you should be able to adjust after a while.
yeah.
But yeah,
And to just answer Mackie's question, where and how do we start? Mackie, if you're gonna stick with us until the end of this episode, I've invited somebody to speak about this because maybe for those of you who are watching and are interested to move to Australia, then we have somebody who can give some piece of advice which might be helpful to you guys. So please keep the questions coming. And if you're interested to migrate or well, to study there or to work or to live there, just please make some comments here so we can see your questions and comments. Okay. All right. So I guess my question now is, how do you maintain the Filipino values when you're living overseas? Because although I know Australia has got, very laid back people, and, as you guys said, it's not that different from our Filipino culture, which is family oriented, friendly, laid back. How do you still keep the Filipino values intact? Maybe you'd like to start, Rose, because you have 3 kids now, and yeah.
Um, because my husband and I are really family oriented. So just like Filipinos, we are in the same view. So we want a race like when it comes to like inviting people into our house, like family and friends. We love that, the hospitality that we as Filipinos love to do, just like the like my family back in the Philippines. So I want to tell my kids that being hospitable is also like part of Filipino traits. We
Mhm.
want to like make them feel at home, especially when um, their birthdays. We invited also some Filipino friends, and I cooked something for them. It's like um, and also I teach my kids also, like, mano po is a sign of respect.
Yeah, I
I
see
They do that. Yeah,
that.
they call my father-in-law Lolo Patrick. That's what they call. Even though my father-in-law is English,
Mhm.
so that's the trait that they want to pass it to them. It's like being respectful, being hospitable, and also like everyone else, like the Filipinos always go to church every Sunday. Like I also want to raise them as God-fearing kids.
Yeah.
And yeah, the traits that the Filipino have is most likely like to pass them on like us, Filipino trait that we have.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's basically it. Yeah.
It's really a lot to do with parenting as well. I mean, it's gonna
Mm,
really start from you as a Filipino, because especially because you're married to an Australian, then it's very
mm,
important to I get I guess get the best of both cultures and make sure that they're
yeah.
part of the mixed race of kids. I mean, you have
Mm,
Phil Aussie kids, so it's important that we have the Australian culture, and as well as Filipino culture. So
yeah.
yes, a lot to do with parenting, most definitely. Okay, how about you, Francis? How do you manage, or how
Well,
sure that you,
we're so my wife and I are both Pinoy. We met in college and we moved here. When we
yeah.
moved here, Enzo, my elder son, was already 5 years old. So he grew up a little bit in the Philippines,
Mhm,
and then my second son was born here in 2008. But even if he was born here, he wasn't automatically an Aussie citizen.
mhm.
He still got a Filipino passport. But we've always been telling our kids that you guys are, you look Filipino, you are Filipino, even though that we are Aussie citizens. Um, we speak Tagalog at home, so the language is one important part as well to retain our identity as Pinoys.
That's good.
Respect for your elders, I guess that's a big thing for us as well, because we when they're in school, some of the other kids or their friends would answer back to their parents and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
We just explain to them that's not the Pinoy way. We don't do that
Mm,
here. So as far as our household is concerned, we're still Pinoy. So that's how we brought him up.
That's good.
You're in a Filipino household as far as
Yeah.
you're concerned.
And
Yeah.
I like what you said, that at home you guys speak in Filipino, in Tagalog. And this is so
Yeah.
important because your kids are already in, when they're in school, they're around Aussies. So of course they speak
Yeah,
English.
they'll acquire the language and the accent anyways, being around that. So having just the thing is, what we tell them, we don't want you to come home to Manila, the Philippines,
Mhm,
as foreigners. Yeah,
mhm.
you're not foreigners there. You're That's still home,
Yeah.
or that's where you're originally from.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that, Francis. What about you,
Hmm.
Yvette? I mean, although it's very tough because you've been there for 20 years already. How do you manage to still be Filipina, even if you're already you've been living there for the past 20 years?
Um, there's, obviously, usually I take my family's,
Mhm.
I guess basically, their inputs, and I credit my mom to begin with, and my dad obviously to, you know, with keeping the family values. So you know, the good thing about being Filipino, I think, is, you know, just like Francis, you, Tinette, and Rose, you know, at a very young age, we've been instilled with, you know, with values of, you know, love for family, strong family ties, respect, respect our elders, respect to everyone, you know, and Filipino hospitality. So I think I owe credit, first and foremost, to my parents, Tinette, and my family that have raised me well, for me to be able to carry those values here. And obviously through my Filipino friends and community.
Yeah.
You know, obviously there's always a lot of Filipino gatherings, karaoke, watching, you know, TV shows, watching ASAP,
Yeah.
watching all those, you know, joining all the Filipino community events, supporting Filipino community events as well. So that's a big thing. And then just a few pictures again, guys, a few slides. And then obviously the most important thing is, you know, my sense of pride of being a Filipino. And I think that will be the same with you, Francis and Rose, that wherever I go, wherever I will be, like today and in the future, you know, I'll always be proud that I'm a Filipino. And I think that's more than enough reason, you know, for me to be able to keep the Filipino values intact here and anywhere else. So yes, you know, I may be an Australian citizen now, you know, through passport, but my heart is still Filipino, always.
That's nice. Right. Okay. I'm very, very happy to hear from all three of you that the Filipino values are still intact, because of course what we don't want to happen is completely forget about our Filipino roots and our heritage and our culture and our values, because I think we have some of the best, if not all, at least some of the best values in the world, you know, especially when it comes to love for family. Okay. I'm just trying to look at the questions. There have been questions here. In terms of discrimination, have you guys ever experienced being discriminated at some point in Australia?
It
Anybody?
has happened. It has happened. It was very rarely, and very rarely from Aussies.
Mhm.
I think it's happened to me once. It was another Asian, another from another Asian.
Who discriminated you?
It also happened when I lived in country WA, and I think it wasn't intentional. I think it was the older generation. Things like, "Oh, you're Asian. Wow, you speak very good English," or "Is Francis your real name?" You know, things like that. Because I don't look,
What,
diba? Yeah.
why
What
not?
do I look like? Yeah. So, but yeah, that it occasionally happens, but it's not uh, it's not as bad as what we see against other other people, I guess. And it's certainly overshadowed by how easy they are to get along, and generally it's never really been an issue.
Right. Okay. Well, thank you for that, Francis. Guys, I have a lot of friends watching us right now. If you have any questions for our featured guests this afternoon, please just type in your questions. All right. There's one here. Oh, but this has nothing to do with Australia. So, okay. Everybody's just saying hi. All right. Another question, again from Christopher. What is so special about living in Australia compared to the US and London, where I think most Filipinos prefer to migrate? So I guess the question is, so I think that
Yeah.
there are some people still thinking, you know, I want to migrate, but I just don't know where. So what would be the advantage of Australia over those two countries that were mentioned? Anybody? Not
May I share, Tinette?
Sure, Yvette, please.
And feel free, Francis or Rose, to to actually add as well. I've been to both because I visited the US a couple of years ago, and I visited UK and London as well. And I think if I can compare it to the US, for example, definitely, it's more peaceful here in the sense wherein you won't really see the same civil unrest that you may see there in here, although it's not happening there all the time. But Australia is a safe and peaceful country in general. We do have homeless people living in the streets, for example, but they're not as rampant as the one in the US. And basically, I think more so like the UK, we've got a very, very good health system,
Yep.
which is, which I'm very, very proud of. So, we don't have to pay for, for our basic medical needs, which, as we know, in the US, you'll have to have a good insurance, from your own company to begin with to actually get that. And plus, obviously, if you compare it to the UK, obviously the winning thing is the weather. We've got the nice beaches here, one of the best beaches ever.
Beautiful in
Yes.
Australia.
and for the coffee drinkers, of course, the best, if not the best coffee
Wow.
in the world. Melbourne is a good place to have coffee. I'm not a coffee drinker, but I know we've got one of the best coffees in the whole world, if you're not the best. And plus, it's near home, it's near the Philippines. We've got good, basically at par universities as well for your kids, if you want, if you want for your kids. And in here, I think as long as you work hard, and you're not choosy, you will have a job. You can eat, you can pay your rent. You can do the basic things that sometimes people in the Philippines or even people in the US might have difficulty doing. We've got the government support system. Currently, we have the job keeper, job seeker allowances. So that's just to name a few. And obviously, I'm not saying that we're better than the US or the UK, but I guess in terms of all those different aspects, which I'll let Francis and Rose expound more. I think that's more than enough reasons to actually move here. And I think the fact, just like what Tinette said earlier, and I shared, that even people from the UK want to move here, and even some friends of mine want to move here. I think that goes to show that even people from other Western countries see the beauty and the benefits of living here. So do you want to add, Francis or Rose?
Yeah.
Yeah,
the healthcare is a big deal. That's free. School is either free or very cheap, and the quality is excellent. So the support for the kids, their dental, their medical is free. So if you go to the doctor with your kids, and they'll they either you get a subsidized payment, or it's very inexpensive. But why is it better than the US or the UK? I guess it's not as crowded. The scenery is great. The people are great. They're easy to get along with. And I think one important thing is, here in Australia, there aren't any fixed stereotypes against the Pinoys.
Oh wow.
That's one thing that I've noticed. A lot of the people I have dealt with see me as the first Filipino they've ever met. So I think that's a really good opportunity to create a positive image of what the Philippines and Filipinos are about. And I think in the States, there's already some connotations of what they think Filipinos are, and that's the same as the UK. And like countries like Singapore and Hong Kong, it's very prevalent. But here, it's you're starting fresh, so it's a great opportunity to say, hey, we're Pinoys, and this is what we're like. So I think that's a very a very big deal.
Wow.
Yeah, and pretty much everything else that were said earlier.
Mhm. Right, thank you
Totally
so
agree with
much,
that. Yeah.
Francis. No, yeah, great insights. Rose, do you have any additional inputs before I get into the comments section of our Facebook Live?
Yeah, I just want to add few um like the living the way you live here in Australia is really compared to US and London for me, because I have few friends who like they were living in the UK for the past 10 years.
Mhm.
The kids grew up there, they had their primary schooling there, and then they migrated here. So because maybe of the weather, it's more, the weather condition here is much better compared to the UK. There's not there's no like snow, or compared to also the US and Canada. And for me, as a mom of three, I gave birth to the three kids in a public hospital, and I didn't pay any single centavo. So
Oh,
that's the number one for me, is the medical system. Yeah, that's why after we were like planning to go out from the hospital,
mhm.
I asked my husband, do we need to pay anything? And then he said, no, it's free. So I was like shocked, because I didn't even know that. And also there's lots of free things that when you're like, when you're pregnant, there's people who will go
Mhm.
to your what do you call, to your house to check you if you cannot go to the doctor. And after you give birth, the midwife will visit you a few times,
Mhm.
and all those benefits, like that was I was really amazed, because system here in Australia. And of course, another thing is the scenery. Lots of family summer, the beach, go to mountain, and yeah, it's good to raise the kids here. And also another thing is there's no traffic. So I drop off my kids to school like just 5 minutes away from the house. So I don't need to worry about traffic or
Yeah.
anything. So yeah,
Tinette,
and the
sorry.
people here are very, like, for me, is very responsible. So
Mhm.
you go to you pay your bills, go to the Service SA or Australia Post. They're always in queue.
Mhm.
Like, you don't need to worry about like other people will disturb you or anything. And also the government support. The government is very good with, like, if you lost your job, they will help you, they will support you. So that's all the benefits living here in Australia.
Wow. Thank you.
Sorry if I may add to that, Tinette.
Yes,
Sorry.
Francis, go ahead.
I think Australia is a true meritocracy. If you work hard, you get rewarded for it.
Mhm.
It's very egalitarian, meaning whether you're talking to the CEO of a company
Mhm.
or the janitor of a company, there is no difference. There is no class difference between all of you. You can talk to them as informally as you would any other person.
Yeah.
So I've worked with people who owned many companies, and it was as if they were just a buddy of yours.
Yeah.
So there's no air of superiority.
Mhm.
There's no classes. There's no class differences here.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's I think that's one of the main things that you don't see in other countries.
Countries. All right.
And
Mm.
Thank you
sorry,
so
and
much for that,
sorry,
Francis.
Tonette, if I may add just one more thing as well. Well, to touch on what Francis said. Again, you are treated as equal, and then even at work, there's a big push for work-life balance, and I think that's a really really important thing. We get at least 4 weeks of annual leave, 6 weeks for our healthcare
Mm.
colleagues or professionals, and in here it's always encouraged and pushed that families comes first. So if you need something for your family, if you need to look after your family, there's no question. You just have to do it. So, which I think is a big thing. A country that promotes um, that work-life balance I think is such a big thing for for our personal well-being in general. So
Wow, thank you so much for that, Yvette. I like what you said about work-life balance because this is so important, especially these days that mental health is such a big issue among not just adults but even kids, teenagers. So thank you for that, Yvette. So guys, you've been giving us so much great insights, but let me just get through the to go through the comments. So Mr. Lester Galeno says hello. Arnel Morales, he says he'd love to visit Australia again. Um, Alan Alas, hi Alan, he says hello to that. And of course, Mr. Garing has been giving us great insights as well. Thank you so much for your great insights, Mr. Garing, about keeping the Filipino values intact. I'd like to say hello to my good friend from the UK, Gio. So he's watching us right now. Christine Tinay is giving us a smiley. There's a question here from Arnel. He says, how is Australia compared to Canada? And Arnel, I'm just going to put that question on hold because I'm going to have our next speaker address that concern, how you can compare Australia to Canada. All right. Do you see yourselves retiring at your home countries? I guess I'll just have to hear a yes or a no. Yvette, do you see yourself retiring in the Philippines? Just yes, or
Yes.
no? Yes?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. How about you, Francis?
Yeah. Yes.
All right. And how about you, Rose?
For that, I'm not sure. Because my husband is Australian, so we need to. But for me, I will say yes, personally. Yeah, because my family are there. But of course, with the consent of my husband. So, yeah.
Wherever your husband is, you guys should be together, whether it's in the Philippines or
Yeah,
Australia.
that's true.
The most important thing is you're together. That's the one, I think that's the most important thing. I just have to say just a little comment on what Yvette shared earlier about work-life balance. I remember I went to Australia one time for business. I mean, among all the different visits that I've had in Australia, because most are for holidays, but I went there for work. I conducted a workshop, and then the organizer of that particular training workshop said, "Oh, Tanet, it's almost 2 o'clock. We can continue tomorrow. You want to go surfing?" So it's like, oh my God, I would never hear that in the Philippines. In the Philippines, you got to finish at 6. And sometimes we even extend till, I don't know, 7 or 8 o'clock in the evening, dealing with the clients. But here it's like, okay, we've covered pretty much everything and let's go surfing. Okay, so you're very laid back. I love the way that the Aussies are just so fun-loving, so laid back, and just such friendly people. Okay, here are other comments as well. Great insights, Yvette, from Misty Alcantara. And she also says government policies in Australia are top-notch. Agree, disagree, ladies and gentlemen?
Yes,
Yeah.
agree.
Okay. Australia, from Rommel Ainza, Australia is still a very young country compared to the US and the UK, so it has a lot of opportunities to grow. And according to Jerwin Harikal, is it Harikal? And the medical system in Australia is one of the best. And that's true, because that's what you guys have been mentioning, and that it's being emulated by other countries, as Misty mentioned.
And there are agreements internationally as well.
Yeah.
So for instance, if you go to Italy and something happens to you, our Medicare system will take effect there as well, because there's an agreement between the Medicare of Australia and other countries as well. So
that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. And G. Melendres also says the healthcare system and security, which again were mentioned as well. I'd like to say hello to my friend Aimee. Guten Tag. All right. Aimee Herle, die deutsche Sprache. Misty Alcantara, Australians are naturally respectful and altruistic, traits that are common to Filipinos. So yes, agree. And according to Rommel, Australia is very multicultural. They embrace everyone. They value inclusivity. Wow, these are great comments. If you are working with in the health system in Australia, most of the patients prefer Filipino workers. I think that's true. No? I think Filipino workers everywhere, we just shine, don't we? Whether we're in the healthcare sector, hospitality, I mean, come on, it's amazing. I'd like to say hello to Melvin, my friend from the UK as well. Seems like a lot of our friends from the UK are watching this episode. To Donna, to Barry, Clarice, my tita Dita, and Greg as well. So hi guys, thank you for watching. Okay, so at this point, I'm gonna allow my dear cousin, okay, I just have to announce that, cousin Catherine, well, we call her Kathy. Kathy, I'm gonna put you, because Kathy here is, because a lot of you guys have been asking, how do we start? We don't know how to start. And Kathy here is actually, I actually just texted her and say, maybe you'd like to join us so you can give some professional advice. Kathy is the president and CEO of World Connect Consultancy. So it's an education agency that helps Filipinos move to Australia and a couple of other countries. But we're not going to promote the other countries in this episode because today is all about the land down under. Okay, so Kathy, hello, hello. How are you? Wait, let me just try to, I'm trying to unmute you. Hold on. Wait, hold on. You're supposed to be unmuted now. Yvette, can you? Oh, there. Okay.
Hi.
Hi, Kathy.
Hi, Jeanette.
How
Thank
are
you for
you?
inviting me.
My
I'm
beautiful
good.
cousin. See, look how pretty she is. Miss Kathy. Okay, how are you today?
I'm good. I'm still in the office.
You're still in the office.
Yeah.
Okay. So Kathy, so I mentioned to you, today's episode is really just saying hello to my friends from Australia and making them share their lovely stories of life in Australia. If you noticed, I didn't even hear one single negative thing about their experience in Australia. No traffic, healthcare, no racial discrimination, very clean, etc., etc. So a lot of the viewers are now, okay, I want to explore moving to Australia. So what do they do? What are the options available?
Okay, so normally our company, World Connect, we process visa for Australia. We specialize in sending students. But we have also partner registered migration agents based in Australia. They're all Filipinos. That in case they are qualified to apply for direct residency, then our partner registered migration agents can help them out.
Mm-hmm.
The best thing that they can do is to get free assessment first. We do not charge, it's free.
Mm-hmm.
We will give to Gloria, June, they're all Filipinos based in Brisbane, based in Sydney. They're processing the immigrant visa application if they are qualified. Since our company here in the Philippines, we are specializing for student visa processing. So those Filipinos who are interested to study in Australia, then we process student visa. We have university partners there. We have private schools. They just have to choose what course they are interested, what location they are interested to study, so we can help them out.
Wow, that's really a great that's great news for all of us, no? Because I think a lot of our fellow Filipinos are interested to know more about how they could possibly start a life in Australia. I guess my question, because as Yvette, Rose, and Francis mentioned earlier, the educational system in Australia is top notch. It's excellent. Whether you're there for preschool, grade school, high school, university, or even postgraduate studies, Australia has really some of the world's best schools. So please, guys, if you have any questions, please feel free to type them in so that Kathy can also answer the questions. So Kathy, what for the people who are interested, what would be the first step? What do they do? Do they just comment here on this Facebook Live, or do they contact you directly?
Okay, the first thing that the company, we have 12 branches nationwide. Our Manila office is located in Capital House, that's in Fort Bonifacio. Since there's an EZQ right now and they cannot visit the office, they can just send their detailed resume to us for a free assessment.
Mhm. Okay.
We are actually processing a lot of K to 12 graduates who are interested to study in Australia. The benefit, though, of studying in Australia, of course, you will get an internationally recognized qualification. While you are doing the course, you are allowed to work. Although you're only allowed to work 20 hours every week or 40 hours every fortnight, but that is a privilege given to students.
Mhm.
My daughter, she just graduated year 12. The first plan, she will be studying political science in the Philippines, then progress to law, to study law after the bachelor's program.
Mhm.
But when I inquired in one of our university partners, I learned that my daughter, after finishing year 12, can progress and study bachelor in law right away. So just come to think of it, she will be saving 4 years of the bachelor's degree in political science.
Wow.
So in the Philippines, to study a law, you have to study first a preparatory course. In Australia, I inquired in Deakin University, Southern Cross University. She can study bachelor's of law right away.
Mhm.
So the year 12 graduates, if they just they will learn this privileges, these benefits, maybe they will prefer to study in Australia instead.
Mhm. Wow. So, guys, you've just heard it from Kathy that there are ways or there are pathways for us to move down there through education, applying for a course. It's really amazing that as a K to 12, if you finish your year 12, you can already apply. Is that correct? That you don't really have to finish university year first or whatever. So you can go straight to that and then you can even work 20 hours a week. So that's
Yeah.
great, great, great. Okay, so Kathy, what would be the first step for them to, should they, would you like to give your contact details or how do they reach you? How can they avail of the rates and the discounts or promos that you have? Any?
If they are interested to study, there are a lot of schools who give scholarship.
Mhm.
So we just have to assess first their resume. So even if you are a college graduate, they can do masters or they can do any course that they like, or if they want to specialize in a certain program. So we are processing a lot of visas for hospitality graduates, tourism graduates. They are specializing in commercial cookery in Australia.
Oh, wow.
So we can accept actually all professionals, even they have already the bachelor's degree in the Philippines. So send the resume first for us to check if they are qualified. So we will also be checking their work experience. So it's very important that they submit first their CV for a free assessment.
But since these are free anyway, guys, I really encourage you to go for that free assessment because you'll never know. Maybe you and your family might be um, students in the next few months. So how would you like to tell me how they can reach you?
Okay, they can just we have a website. So World Connect has 12 offices in the Philippines. So we have offices as far as Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. And they just have to inform us that they learn through the Facebook or through you. Then you will be giving discounts.
Oh wow, discount. Maybe I should go for it also. I want a discount. Yeah. Okay, so guys, Kathy says, I guess maybe we can assign a promo code for them to avail of a discount or something. It's up to you because we want people who have been engaging in our live today to enjoy this. What should they type in or what should they use the promo code to enjoy certain discounts? Global, World
Yeah, like Global Pinoy.
Global Pinoy. Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
So
So guys, you heard from Miss Kathy. Use the code Global Pinoy and they will be able to enjoy discounts. Is that
Yeah.
now I'm so tempted to apply also.
Yeah, and not only for PNET for the student visa, if they are also interested, those who are very qualified to migrate, then I can endorse them to Gloria, June. They are all Filipinos who are registered migration agents, lawyers in Australia.
All right. Okay, thank you. There's just one question here from G. Melendres. Do you help them find a job? What support do you provide during crisis? For instance, COVID-19, if they lost their job.
Okay. Is it the question is for me?
I think so. I think so because because as the
Okay. Okay, the company, we are not a recruitment agency. If they will be applying for a student visa, definitely they are allowed to work. But we do not give a job.
Mhm.
When they get to Australia, they'll be the one to look for the job. But our partner schools, they have a support team, like a group of people that helps our students
Yeah.
in CV making. They will prepare the students for the interview, and they will also be giving them leads for possible part-time job that they might be qualified.
And yeah, that's great. G, if you're still here, if you're still listening, G, this is also where Consult Asia Global in Australia comes into the scene because our team over there creates or develops training programs to help our fellow Filipinos improve their soft skills, their people skills, how to write resumes, how to win an interview, etc., etc. So if you're interested for the training programs, I'd like to promote Consult Asia Global Australia. So please, if you can like that page, it would be great. And then if you have any inquiries regarding training before you apply for uh, your studies in Australia, then we will be very happy to provide you with more details. At the same time, just to summarize what Kathy said, if you're interested to explore moving to Australia, just visit their website, contact them directly, and she has just shared a, a discount for today for the viewers today. Wow, how lucky are we? And we just have to say that it's global Pinoy because of course we're helping global Filipinos everywhere in the world have better lives. All right, so I guess that's it. We don't have any more questions. So with that, guys, we like to say just one word to thank our viewers and some message of inspiration. Maybe you would like to start, Rose. Would like to start? Rose, hello.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for watching us. And yeah, for those who want to migrate and you're qualified, you just have to start. Better late than never. That's it. Thank you, everyone.
Yes, thank you. Guys, can we give Rose a big round of applause, please? Thank you, Rose, for sharing. Wow. All right. And how about you, Francis?
Yeah, well, for anybody who wants to move here, it's definitely a great place to be. It's a great place to live. And if homesickness is something you fear, it's not a big issue because, like, right now we're on Zoom with Jeanette, and in fact, I'm in a weekly meeting with my friends, my barkada from high school. So, as far as getting homesick, it doesn't exist anymore. You know? So, but yeah, it's a great place. There's the people are great to live. The people are great. It's a nice place. So if you want to come here and live here, highly encouraged, highly recommended.
Great. And maybe they could just comment on the FB Live if they're interested to move to Australia. Because, guys, if you comment here on the comment section, you can avail of the discount that Build Connect is offering on. That's what is the deal. All right. Yeah. Thank you, Kathy. Yes.
Yes, so yes, to everyone, thank you to all our family and friends who are watching. But yes, to everyone who's interested to move here, I really, really encourage you guys to do it. And knowing how we are as Filipinos in general. We are very resilient. We are hardworking. You know, we've got very good Filipino values that, you know, we can always show to the world. So I know that, you know, if we can shine in the Philippines, we can shine anywhere. And, you know, this is a land of opportunity. So yes, please try all your different options to move here. And because yeah, I'm sure, you know, I'm sure that we will shine. We will succeed. We always do, as Filipinos, anywhere we are in the world.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys. And Kathy, my dear cousin, do you want to share some parting words?
Yeah, after hearing positive insights, feedbacks about Australia, for sure, all the viewers are enticed to move to go to Australia. I'm very happy knowing that our kababayans are doing well in Australia. I always tell my clients to do not do the processing on their own. They have to get experts, someone who knows the process the better way.
Yeah.
So the best thing to do is get a professional registered migration agent based in Australia if they want to move to Australia. If they want to study, World Connect can assist them as well. So we don't charge for the assessment. So the best thing that they can do is to send their resume. And
Yeah.
then, you know, we will give them feedback if they are qualified or not. So it's free. They don't have to pay anything.
And Kathy, as you mentioned, again, I'm so into discounts. Please don't forget to label your resumes with, what's your promo code again? Sorry.
Global Pinoy.
Global Pinoy, guys. When you reach out to Kathy, please type in Global Pinoy, or you can just comment here because she'll be able to access your names here. So thank you very much, Kathy. But before we go, I would like to read some of the comments of other viewers. From Misty Alcantara, and well done, speakers, and Jeanette. Thank you so much, Misty. This will be an insightful and inspiring subject for Filipinos wanting to migrate to Australia. And Donna, congratulations, Francis, and to your guests. Go Team Australia. Woohoo! And Ronald Einstein, thank you to Nat and to the panel. Great discussion. And from G, again, thank you for providing free assessments. So Kathy, yes, we will be having a lot of interested applicants. And from Eleanor Velasquez, great speakers. Yes, I agree. We have such great speakers tonight. I'm very, very happy that you guys are available to and willing to share your wonderful stories in the future. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. And by the way, for the Australia team, Consul, I'd like to thank Yvette. Yvette, please. Yvette
Thank you.
is
Thank you.
our amazing consultants and partners in Australia with Consul Asia, and Francis as well. And Francis has done such great. We did a workshop together here in the Philippines, representing Consul Asia Australia, and of course Rose, our very what is the amazing marketing expert in Australia with consultation. So Rose, please say bye-bye to everybody. And of course, Kathy,
Thank you so much, everyone.
and, we're going to be having this kind of conversation hopefully every week. If you guys are interested in learning more about Australia, we'll be having different topics about Australia. You can learn more to help you decide whether moving there is actually a good option or decision for you guys. Right? So with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much and God bless you. Have a lovely evening. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.